I am here today with
Donna Rastorfer.
She is the leader of the new drama club. Leader, that makes it sound like it's a sneaking government.
The leader of the pack.
But yeah, she's going to be running the new drama club, and this is an interview with her. We're going to be asking some questions. When did you get started with drama?
I first started dancing when I was 5 years old. So I've been on stage since I was 5. And no, I'm not telling you how old I am. Just suffice it to say, a long time. My first professional show was when I was 12. I was one of the princesses in The King and I at the Showboat Dinner Theater in Florida. I grew up in Florida. And then I got my equity card at the same theater I had done my first professional job at. I went back after college and I was in the chorus of My One and Only. And the owner of the theater was so excited that she was able to present me with my equity card. So I am a former Actors Equity Association member.
Nice. What are you going to do now, like, considering that Miss Chastain isn't going to be running the drama club anymore? What are you going to do different from her?
Well, I just actually had a meeting with her. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I'm going to do things terribly differently. I don't know. I don't know how she worked, in rehearsals and things. I do know that the first thing we're going to do is have our meeting on Friday, September 2nd at 7:45 in the auditorium. That's going to be our first drama club meeting. And that's going to help me kind of figure out what you all want to do. Because I'm not here just to tell you what to do. I'm here for us to work, for us to collaborate, for us to all bring our giftings that we have, what we do best, bring it and say, okay, this is what I can contribute. All right. I want to, Miss Christina said, that's probably a good idea. Starting out, we're not going to do a major musical first year. What we will do is what she was doing in December, which was like a senior show. So what I plan to do is a senior spotlight showcase where the seniors who wish to contribute to it can do what they do best, whether it be singing, dancing, acting, whatever falls under the purview of performing arts. Kid-friendly, school-appropriate. If I don't have enough seniors, we'll go to juniors. If I don't have enough, we'll just keep going down. And I had said 9 through 12, but I think I'm going to open up 7th through 12th because then I just think that's going to help better prepare them as we develop the program. Then I'll already have people who know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's not even from the 9th graders. You have people from 5 years back.
Right. So that's only going to strengthen the program if we can start educating them how we do things. It's just going to make the program stronger. So my plan at this point is, which I just told these guys tonight, that I got a wild hair, a brainstorm, to enter a float into the Pumpkin Festival Parade. And I want to do the theme, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Because the theme is harvesting our history. And for me...
You took that literally.
I took it literally because 1966, I hope you're not too good at math, but 1966 is the year I was born, and that is the year that we first saw It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So, luckily that side of your brain doesn't work like that quickly because you're all artsy, so you're not going to be able to figure out how old I am. I don't care really. Anyway, so that is definitely history because there was a time when you couldn't just pick up a phone and watch a cartoon. It was Saturday mornings. It was during the holidays whenever there was Rudolph and all the other specials, the claymation and all that. And then if, not Disney Channel, but there used to be The Wonderful World of Disney, what would come on Sunday nights. And so then you might see a cartoon there. And then, of course, you actually enjoyed the Sunday comics. You would wait for that Sunday paper to get there so you could look at the comics. So things were very different back then. It was a simpler time, in my opinion, and things weren't as available as they are now. So for me, the Peanuts gang symbolizes so much of our past, at least in my age group. So I just thought that would be fun. They're fun characters, and I'm not going to give away too much, but I think I'm going to present it to the drama club on Friday. Make sure it's a thumbs up. I've met with Mr. Bob, Shopman, and have just a very rudimentary sketch that I gave him and talking about the float. But I want to make sure everybody has input on it. So that would be the first thing we do. Mm-hmm. Then our Friday mornings, I plan on being here as many Friday mornings as people are willing to meet so that we can brainstorm what we want our senior project, our senior spotlight showcase to look like. And we can also talk about other things we can do in the community because the arts are powerful. They're very powerful. I established an arts organization, a nonprofit back in Branson called the Southern Missouri Arts Connection, and they now have a storefront. They have a space, they have an art gallery, they have a teaching space, they have studios that the local artists can rent, and that pays for the rent of the building. So that has had a huge impact on the community, and I believe that the arts can be used to have a very positive impact. So one way is the Pumpkin Festival Parade, bringing joy, throwing candy, and there's other things that we can do for the community with the arts, and so we can brainstorm about that. But like I said, the major production will be the senior showcase, spotlight showcase. So probably rehearsals 2 days a week is what I heard usually happens, but that won't happen till we get closer to time.
Yeah.
The showcase also will enable me to work around sports schedules, etc. So like I can work with you on your monologue one night, like 2 or 3 people. And then if you've got a game, you go to your game and I can work with somebody else, Of course, production week, that's the week that we all have to pitch in and give and take and make sure that I have everybody for dress rehearsals, etc. But I don't know if it's going to be different. I just know that this was my career. I've taught pre-K through 12 drama in homeschool co-ops. I've choreographed for show choirs back in Branson and Hollister. I have a BFA in musical theater from Florida State University, and I went on to the Alliance Theater for a year in their acting intern program. So this is what I did. This was my career prior to teaching. I've always taught, but it was dance and drama and voice. So I've already talked to Miss Chestnut, and she is willing to help us with some of, if we do anything musical, that she's willing to help with that as well. So, and Miss Christina said that if I'm ever sick or can't be there, she'd be more than happy to fill in. So it's going to be a group effort for sure. It's not just the Donna show. So I've had that before. Cabaret act on the cruise ship. Thank you very much. But so what else?
All right, so that entire monologue basically answered like half of these questions. Improv. What is your thoughts on improv, and how much improv will we have to do on the thing?
Oh my goodness gracious. Now, of course, the final project, the final product is going to be well rehearsed. But for me, rehearsals are my favorite part of any project, because that's when you're creating the character and you're figuring out, okay, how am I walking? How am I, that's the fun part. That's the creative part.
The directing.
But I mean, as an actor.
Yeah.
Once you get to the production, then in a professional theater, you don't change anything or you get fined for it. Unless there's a mishap, like when I was sharing with you in high school, I was Maria in West Side Story my senior year, and the gun didn't go off. So I had to figure out what to do. How am I going to take out Chino? What am I going to do? So anyway, the gun didn't work and I had to figure out something. So there are times when you have to improv, but in professional theater, if you change the lines up, if you improv without a really good reason, if you're using a Samuel French book musical, you have to write to get permission to change the script. So I don't want my actors mess around. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't have a night of improv where it's kind of like the Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
I worked with Wayne Brady, by the way, at Universal Studios. So he's wonderful.
Just see Waylon's face. He's like super excited because we all love Wayne.
Yes,
so.
I would love it if I could get him to come here and do a workshop with you guys. I don't know if I could reach out to him and get him, but wouldn't that be fun?
He's so
yes,
excited.
I was the Bride of Frankenstein and he was Dracula when we did Beetlejuice Graveyard Review at Universal Studios. I did a lot of work in Florida because that's where I grew up. So it's kind of a rite of passage to do all the theme parks. And I did cruise ship, and I did some film work and some commercial work and just a little bit of everything. So, but anyway, I think it would be nice, hopefully in our discussions, we can say, hey, we're going to have live at Springs Valley, or whatever. That'll be part of the fun process, is coming up with it. Night of improv. And then, you have kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? You get a particular theme, you get whatever, and then we have a night of improv and invite people to come and buy tickets and enjoy. That being said, I believe improv is vital. I think all teachers should take improv, especially in the special needs community, because you have to think fast on your feet to redirect students. So what better way than improv? So we will definitely do improv whenever we have any sort of opportunity to do so. Also, in the rehearsal process, I love working with directors that let me try things even if I fall flat on my face. Not literally, figuratively. If a moment doesn't work, I don't know until I try it. So I like having that free space where I am free to explore and try things. That didn't work, and let me try this instead. So during the rehearsal process, I want to give you guys the freedom to do that. Because you might discover something that you never even thought of when you were writing your character bio or whatever you were doing to prepare for your scene or your monologue or your song. And in the moment, you're like, oh, this would be great. But you never would have done that if you didn't have the freedom to explore. So that's the way I direct. I give my actors a lot of freedom to flesh out what's going to work and not. So that's where a lot of the improv will take place, other than if we have a night of improv as a fundraiser or something.
Just as a night of what the heck, go full.
We'll do our own Whose Line Is It Anyway? And in the Valley. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Send in your ideas, Instagram or Facebook. So.
Now, this next question actually kind of brings up a memory. So when I was in drama, when I was up there messing with the lights and stuff like that during Alice in Wonderland. Mm-hmm. Thank you, it's not Wizard of Oz.
We'll make sure we get that one right this time.
Yep. So it was the second night we were doing it. It was the second night we were actually, doing the thing. First day, fantastic. Nothing went wrong. Second day, the only thing that I can remember went wrong was the first song when Alice first meets the Red Queen. So the Red Queen starts singing and stuff like that, and almost immediately, I forgot my line. It was funny, but then she started singing again because she almost immediately remembered the rest of the lines.
Yeah. But
that one section she forgot and just kind of said, "Screw it! I forgot my line. Everyone laugh at me." So, So what should we do when we screw up?
When you make a mistake, you move on. You do your best to fix it. Hopefully your actor is on stage. When you are in theater, it's like a tennis match. Mm-hmm. When we have a scene, if we're doing a scene together, just like what we're doing right now, you hit the ball to me, I hit it back. We volley back and forth. When you are on stage, you've got to be generous. You've got to work with each other. So other actors need to be there to help you, because that's happened. We all go up on lines at some point in time. And so hopefully everyone else is in the moment, which you will hear a lot from me. You need to be in the moment. My mistakes as an actor that I've made in the past is I flub up a line in a song, I freak out, okay, and that's all I can think about is how I messed up. And then the rest of the scene or the rest of it goes awful, because that's what I'm obsessing on the mistake. In acting, you have got to move on and be in the moment. Whatever is happening next, you've got to move on. And that's life too, right? Mm-hmm. Lots of life lessons there. You can think about the past and how many mistakes you've made, and let that ruin your future. Or you can say, yeah, man, I messed up. Time to do the best I can moving forward. And you don't allow your past to impede your future. Same thing on stage. Whatever has just transpired, you do your best to salvage it, and then you go on. I did Showboat Branson Bell in Branson. It was a really fun venue. And I was singing, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. And there's that one part with, the words come like that. And I went, the words just didn't come out. And I just looked at the audience and went, what? And then just kept going with the song, and they laughed, and I just went on. Earlier in my career, like in college, I can remember I was doing Guys and Dolls. I was Adelaide, and I was in the song Sue Me, and I messed up the words. And as soon as I got off stage, I went running back to the dressing room and threw myself on the floor and was crying, and all my fake eyelashes came off, and I just was so dramatic. And it's like, dude, there's no time for that. Move on. But I had to learn that. That took time on stage, doing countless shows, countless venues. And in time, you get that security to where you can say, what? And then move on and not have a nervous breakdown just because I made a mistake. Really, the world did not stop turning. We're all still here. And that was 100 years ago when I was in college. So
I'm trying to think how many times I screwed up during the Polar Express, because that entire thing is just improv.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love improv.
Anyways, what would you say is the major differences between good acting and bad acting? And not obvious answers of good acting is being super, having a big voice or having big personalities and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's and more minute, I guess. You can include big things, but I would say I talked about a little bit in our pre-interview. One of the things that I try to impart, which is what I finally got a hold of for me as an actor, the more homework you do, in my training, especially at the Alliance Theater, we learned character bios, because sometimes the script will give you information, and sometimes you just have to make it all up to make this person as real as possible.
So if you believe who you are as an actor, your character, they will too. If you doubt at all, they will see it and you will come across as phony, not as authentic. And people say, oh, you're an actor, you must be a good liar. I say no, because if my character is lying or whatever my character, that's their truth in the moment, right? So for me, authenticity is what makes a real actor. It's like, you know, back in the glory days of Hollywood, you had, oh, that's Jimmy Stewart, you can't miss him. Or you were like, okay, that's Katharine Hepburn, you can't miss her. But I like actors like Gary Oldman. So he played the part of Oswald, I think, in the movie.
I am
and,
awful.
Okay, then he was Dracula in the Dracula movie. Any character that man plays, he completely becomes. Now, I'm not a method actor, but there's something about making with your costume and your choices that you make on stage, making it as authentic as possible for you. That's what's going to translate to the audience. So you can have a lot of enthusiasm and be phony as the day is long. To me, that's quote unquote bad acting. Now, there is a style of acting that's called presentational, where you're intentionally corny or showy.
Yeah.
There's some shows I've done where that's intentional. Like Mystery of Edwin Drood is a show within a show. So there's a certain layer of that show biz kind of approach to it. But the character behind that plays within a play is always a really fun thing to do. That's a great nut to crack because, I mean, that's just, there's so many layers there. So there's the actress who's now performing the role she's performing. You know what I mean? It's so much, but that's such a great show to do. But I think it's the authenticity. Whether you're being very campy or showy, because that's the piece. Or if it's very dark or, you know, I love the classics. I think you guys have got to, especially if you're going into theater as a career, you've got to have the classics under your belt. So I will definitely present the classics. You need to have those in your repertoire because as a professional actor, I've done West Side Story 3 times, I've done Grease twice. You have a tendency to end up doing the same shows over and over if you're making a living at it.
Yeah.
So you need to know those because if you already have a handle on it walking in, most like dinner theater and most professional shows, they have 2 weeks of rehearsals. That's it. You got to walk in off book and then you rehearse 8 hours a day. That's your job. So you've got to bring as much to the first day of rehearsal as possible once you book that gig. So I want to train you that if you want to go out and make this a career, I want to fully equip you to do so. Mm-hmm. Or at least get you ready to go into college and know what you're talking about and not go in like, ugh. If you don't want this as a career, I've had plenty of my former students say, oh, Miss Donna, thank you so much. I can stand now in a boardroom and I can present something and have total confidence or whatever the case may be. So drama can be helpful in so many different aspects of life, not necessarily going into it as a career like I did, but I knew my entire life that that's what I was going to do. So, you know, I started out at a very early age being on stage, but finding that authenticity, I think, is what someone who is able to capture the essence of that character and bring it forth in a believable way, and the audience is right there with you, that's good acting.
Quick, how many written plays have you made?
I was a youth minister years ago, and of course there had to be a production. And so I wrote a show called Parables Plus where I took, and that was a fun collaborative piece where we took different parables out of the Bible and we put our own spin on it. So the debtor and the deadie was Guido Salducci. You know, we did kind of a mafia kind of Italian mob. You know, I mean, we were able to flesh that out to be so much fun, right? And then we did, which I don't know if you guys are old enough for this, but we did, you know how the Bible talks about that Christ will leave the 99 to find the one that has strayed. And so back then you could get away with this and it wasn't taken the wrong way. But my friend Colin, I'll never forget him, he dressed up like Little Bo Peep. And he said, you know, I've lost my sheep, I don't know where it's gone. And so all the sheep, you know, we have the little headbands with the little sheep things on it. And so in the end, we find the lost sheep, and the lost sheep has headphones on, listening to a Walkman. I know that's old school. Listening to ba 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 Varan. Okay, cheese ball, but it's so much fun. So we took the parables and we wrote them into our own, made our own version of them, and tied it together with songs. So I like doing that collaborative work. As far as scripts that have been published, that's not my thing. But when I worked with the homeschool co-op, there were a couple times where I got permission to combine scripts. So I've written monologues. I do like to write, but that is not my main gig, so to speak.
Yeah.
Hey, come join us on Friday, even if you're just slightly interested. I'm not going to embarrass you. I'm going to help you break through some barriers, some boundaries that you may not even know you're capable of, but I'm never going to embarrass you. But if you think you might have the least bit of interest, not just on being on stage, not just in being on stage, but backstage, I'm going to need a lot of backstage help. So if you like building costumes or going thrifting with me so we can find costumes, or running lights or sound or ushering, I'm going to need a lot of people. So don't think if you're afraid to be up on stage right now, because I guarantee you'll get over it. But if you are, and that's not, there's so much more to theater than just being on stage. So don't let that scare you into not coming and getting more information. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. And I would love to meet you, and I would love to see what we can create together.
I may have learned my lesson on that the hard way. I'm telling you guys to join the thing on Friday. Maybe not as a threat, maybe as a threat. I don't know. But
just come join us. Just check it out, man.
Please do.
7:45 in the auditorium. And then we do have a Springs Valley Drama Club Instagram. I know, right? Old lady, Instagram, blah, blah. And then we also have a Facebook page for all the parents out there. Springs Valley Drama.
Okay. So, that was the interview with
Me. Yeah. Us. Working together.
Donna. I can't remember the last name.
Rastorfer, it doesn't matter. You just call me Miss Donna.
I'm so sorry. I keep on forgetting the last name.
That's okay.
Anyways.
It's a name and a half. It's Rastorfer. When I was a substitute teacher, I was just Mrs. R, so.
Fair enough. Anyways. Bye.
Bye!